Welcome back to Trench Talk. I'm your host, Koyos. I'm here with a very special guest today, and I'm going to let him introduce himself a little bit.
Yo, my name is Antoine. I run the media channel Handsome Finance, also active on X, and build a few products around data, stock fund, and stock chain.
Nice, nice. Thank you again for taking the time to come on here. And before you kind of entered crypto and entered this space, what were you doing, and what originally made you curious enough to explore the space?
I started crypto in 2016 or
Okay,
17,
wow.
so I
So you
was
were
not
early.
doing much before that, man.
Hmm.
I did actually. I worked back then with startups in Paris, like Uber Eats, Foodora, things like that. It was like food delivery company. So I was
Hmm.
reviewing startups coming into Paris. It was like the beginning of the era, just after Uber, of like everything that was like, okay, we're gonna Uberize this, Airbnb that. So I
Hmm.
was documenting that, and I was pretty good at bringing a lot of people to those companies. So like when I was student, I had like $5,000 worth of Uber rides
Oh,
credits because
wow.
I referred so many people. So
Nice. Nice. That's very
um,
cool.
yeah, and then after that there was a lot of the what we call the neo bank in Europe. So there was Revolut, number 26,
Hmm.
and I've reviewed those banks because I always love to manage money, talk about how to manage your money and things like that.
Hmm.
And I was surprised that people actually loved it. So I get even more attention from that. And I was like, oh, that's cool because that's a topic that I like even more.
Yeah.
And I started to review those things, a little bit of investing. And during my master degree, which was a management of IT, with my friends, we did a workshop on like basically we translated the white paper of Bitcoin and explained it to our classmate how Bitcoin
Oh,
works,
nice.
and that's what got me started.
Nice, very cool. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but yeah, I started, I would say, mid to late 2022. I don't know if you remember a project called Steppin. It was an app that allowed you to make money while
Yeah.
you ran. Yeah, that was kind of my first gateway into it. Me and all my college, I
Oh my
introduced.
god, that's not the best way to get
I
in,
know,
man.
I know. It was
If I knew that before the podcast, I might have said no. To be
no,
honest.
but that was crazy. My friends, after everything crashed, they all text me, "What happened? What happened?" Koyos, all this stuff. But no, that was my first introduction. Besides NFT, all the other NFTs and everything, obviously Bored Ape Yacht Club and all the big ones. But yeah, and then I got back into it in I'd say mid 2024 as well, kind of with the meme coins. You know what I mean? That was pretty big. So, but yeah, do you remember the first crypto project or kind of idea that made you, really want to get into crypto?
Well, was Bitcoin for
It's
sure.
just Bitcoin, yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I've been through the cycle of 2017 ICO and stuff. I
Hmm.
didn't actually. I poured money only into one ICO, which was an ICO that was not really a normal ICO. It was an investment fund
Mm,
that will tokenize the top 20 of the crypto,
yeah,
which was a great idea. Worked well until, of course, the crash of the market,
yeah,
where all the altcoins like then suffered even more. But yeah, I was honestly I was focused on like Bitcoin, DCA into Bitcoin, and that was like mostly what I was explaining to people.
hmm,
I didn't invest in Ethereum really early on, but then after when I started to play around back then with MetaMask and what you can do with a wallet, it was fascinating.
yeah,
Um, and I think that's where it opened a lot of doors. And then now I think like today, honestly, like crypto is just the best product for trading. Like anything that comes on top, like they have like quote unquote utilities, kind of like meh. Like we haven't seen anything that is like groundbreaking. That is actually, oh yeah, like we make this company that no, it's just for financial market. I think it's really
yeah,
cool.
yeah. It's very, very cool. I also agree with trading being so pivotal in crypto. I mean, we're seeing a huge rise with a push to traditional finance with Hyperliquid and how much they're doing with Trade XYZ and just tokenizing all these equities and stocks on chain for everybody. So it's very, very cool. Did you do a lot of trading when you first started, or mostly just investing?
I did a bit. When I first started, like one thing you could do is check what's happening on Twitter. And when John McAfee was doing a tweet, you could buy the coin.
Yeah.
and then
And
and then it will pump and then dumps. It was a lot of pump and dumps.
yeah.
So I did a bit, but not so much. I was really into lazy investing, honestly. So that's
Mhm.
why, like for example, I talked about like having a diversified portfolio,
Mhm.
having like those things where most people they can't trade crypto like we do or trade like things like we do because you got to be full time to be able to get like any kind of edge.
Yep.
It's otherwise super complicated.
Very, very complicated.
Um, like most of my friends say that yeah, you have a business, focus on growing your business, make more money with your business, and then you pour more money into your investment, but not
Mhm.
try to do the other way around, which can be, but like it takes a specific set of skills and resilience, I think.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the market's moving farther and farther closer to or closer to the 24/7 trading mindset. You know, we have kids that are sitting here 18 to 20 hours a day, you know what I mean? And it's hard to kind of beat that
Yep.
edge too. And markets is moving much faster.
True.
But
Have you seen like a Hong Kong market they and
yes.
Taiwanese market? They even have a lunch break.
Oh my
So
god.
it's like
Oh my
it
gosh.
starts late and finish quite early. I think it's like 4 p.m. something
Y-
like that. But
Yeah.
now, yeah, the like stocks, like when I started to buy, like I bought some like pre-market. Like there's a company that basically only hold Zcash. There's like kind of like a micro strategy of Zcash. This like called Cipher. They seems to be doing it a little bit better. And I remember like when Zcash pumped, I was like, oh, I gotta buy some Cipher
Yeah.
pre-market. It's insane how like a stock like that could move into a day.
And exactly. It's very crazy. It's very, very crazy. Um Now for someone kind of discovering you and your work for the first time, you know, how would you describe what you're building today and what you've been working on?
I'm a data guy, honestly. Like
Yeah.
I love because I'm super curious, so I love to like explore like where can I get the alpha, and then it's mostly with data. So I did a lot of on-chain analysis. I think that's like how people knew me for and some finance the channel. So
Mhm.
started to analyze some people wallets, like some people movements, and then after we are like, okay, like we identified a few triggers on the wallet movement and on-chain movements that are interesting to do. That's how we built Stockchain. A lot of people say like they helped them to make so much money during the AI craze
Yeah.
on on Solana. Like it was just honestly it was brain dead. You just had to see like what the smart money is buying, you tail along, and then it was going up. But like all the market was going up, to be fair, like almost of the thing. So a lot of people got like really good result with that. Then after we did stock fund was more like for new coins because then the meta changed, right? The more we got the pump fundized and then multi-walletized the trading, it was kind of different where there was a lot more upside on getting really early on the coin and then dumping at 200k 500k market cap. There was
Yeah.
nothing that was like going like really really high. And stock fund was more algorithm based where it's about like 20 indicators that will be all matched together and then spot the coins that are good from all the one getting created. So the goal was to cream out the best 1% of the coins that get launched, and
Yep.
then did very well with that, like ran the wallet from $20 or $200 to 100k with it. And then now also we expanded a bit with a company doing AI agents as a service. So like we serve instances of AI agents, so people can hire their directly with us their AI employee, and they
Nice.
will have it ready with all the skills needed to be related to their job, what they want to do, and I connect it to all the apps like easily in one click. Like for example, they want to connect it to Gmail, they
Yeah.
just have to click one click login, and then it's like a super easy way to have your AI employee in your pocket.
Exactly, exactly. I want to touch on the AI employees real quick, but real quick, I know you mentioned you went from I think you said 2K to 100K, you know, but I'm assuming that was during was AI or like that was big during the AI meta, right? During that for
It
you?
was after that one. It was after that wave. I did two challenges. I did $20 to 20k, and I think
Nice.
I did $100 to 100k. I
Okay.
mean, the first one, honestly, the $20 to 20k was a lot easier because at that time, like when you started winning, you just keep on winning because people will copy trade you. You will have that push, and then that push will bring more people into the coin. It
Yeah.
was just like brain dead easy. Like now, I guess like only few people have like really that level of getting copy traded.
Yeah, yeah, there's only very few. Times have changed though, like you said, people are multi-walleting, people are, you know, bundling things a lot more, and it's a little tougher, especially for normies and new guys to get into it, But I mean, there's still that demand
Yeah.
there. I just think the market needs to heal a little bit more. Obviously crypto's down right now, so it's also making things a little bit tougher. Now I know you just mentioned the agentic space and what you're building as well. Why did you choose to also focus on that space?
I was just like, for me, it was just natural because I'm a big lazy person. I'm French, you know. So it's like I gotta do stuff that would automate my life or that like
Yeah,
make me work less. It's just it was natural, and then I started to build, and I was like, how come it's so fucking complicated to people to have to get up a VPS or set up their Mac Mini, and then after they don't know how to
yeah,
do it and everything. So it's like, let's build a product where it simplifies it, and even for us, where I can spin off an employee right away, and that's how we created like Flyer Hermes dot AI, and I thought like it would be really good for trading, but I haven't seen much usage for people to use AI agents for trading. It seems
yeah,
that people like to click the buttons to validate transaction on their wallet and everything, which
definitely.
I can understand because there's a money aspect to it. But a lot of my trades were best made with algorithm trading, so I don't know. I have a different way of functioning on that.
Yeah, yeah, you hit it right on the head. People aren't ready fully yet. For that fully autonomous trading. I know Orangey. I think he made a an agent or bot as well to start trading for him, and it had its ups and downs and frustrating. But I think it'll take time for people to get accustomed to something like that. I mean, they need to also see the results as well. So
Oh, it's really
once
hard to get a. I mean, sometimes you can even use like not your own stuff. Like what? Like there's some on Hyperliquid. There's some vaults, and then I just put money in some vaults, and then
yeah,
it makes money.
that's true. That's very true. What do you think about the recent Mythos Fable band and things like that? Do you think there's going to be a lot more governing over AI and age and stuff like that in the future?
I think it's the best marketing stunt ever. Like
Yeah,
because it's like everywhere you go, almost like if they could put it in your life or like on your eyes to say like, oh, there is always a notification like, oh, Fable is disabled. I know,
yeah,
bro. Like it's been 2 weeks now. Like you don't
yeah.
need to put it in right in front of my face.
It is
So
very good
I don't know.
advertising.
It's honestly we don't have the cards to know what's happening behind the scene here. But I know that marketing wise is the best thing. It became the conversation. It became a topic that was not on before. It was not on the table.
Hmm.
And also I know that like for example, so we had the SpaceX IPO, which was XAI, right?
Yep.
Like any kind of company want to be sure that hey, okay, before you invest in that company, know that we are going to go public as well.
Hmm.
And, and we have some good stuff in the background. So you may want to wait. And that could be a PR stunt as well, which is to make people like keep some money later for investing in Anthropic.
That's true. That's true. We have two big ones coming out, Anthropic and OpenAI. So you're still actively, working pretty to improve or not improve, but to keep iterating on it, right? And stuff like that. Do you have any plans for anything
Yeah,
new?
I mean, like now it's mostly about like what's going to be the next signal on chain because
Yeah.
all the time like things change, people like change the different way. Like for example, like now you see that the volume on Solana starts to be quite a bit on securities, so
Yeah.
on stock market. So like
Hmm.
for example, SpaceX had a quite decent trading amount on it. I'm like all the stock market, if it starts to be more on chain, I really wonder like what kind of alpha we're gonna be able to find, and that's
Yeah.
gonna be really really cool to see. Because like already Hyperliquid was majestic, like Hyperliquid like destroyed so many of the fake traders
Yeah. It
because
did.
people before like I could put out like any kind of number, do any kind of thing to say like, oh, I did that much or whatever on that centralized exchange, and then now it's not the case anymore because like we're gonna be like, well, trade on chain, and then when like this we can see your real numbers, and that's why I've been always big on. And that's one of the things you learn with Bitcoin. The main thing is don't trust a verify. It's like everything was being able to verify. And I
Yep.
think like the people at the beginning as well, they started to share like fake PNLs of their wallets. and they got burned because we're like we could find the trades, we could find the wallets. It's like no, that's fake, and the authenticity is going to be even more important. And then now, still with the stock market, we don't have any information. We don't know. It's so fucking annoying. Like even like let's say like insider trading or like all the Congress in the US, like we still have the information 3 weeks to 6 weeks later, or sometimes even more about what they bought or what they sold, and that's like super unfair in a
Yeah,
way to the market participants. But we may see some changes around that.
exactly. They've done a lot of things right. I mean, since their inception. I know I was a bit late to Hyperliquid. I'm a hype maxi. I think it's generally one of the best things in crypto right now. And it would definitely continue going higher. I'm just very curious to see how things play out in the future, especially with all of Wall Street and TradFi just getting adopted into it. I think we're gonna see a lot more perps traders. Have you traded perps as well? I'm assuming before.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did a bit. Yeah,
nice, nice.
got direct on 1010.
Oh wow, yeah. No, Tencent was very difficult for a lot of people.
You know what? Like, luckily, I didn't put much. So I'm gonna say I'm a pussy when it comes to trade perps. Like, I
That's
don't
alright.
trade big amounts. I love to like grow like a small account. Like,
Yeah,
but you're never gonna see me have a 500K position or things like that. Or
yeah,
actually, not now. Like, because it will impact me too much emotionally. So
yeah,
I know myself around that. But like, I remember I was growing an account on Omnivariational, which start to be popular now. So I rack up quite a lot of points. When you see it, I was like with a small account, like 100, 200, $500, grew
yeah.
to 20K. I was longing Zcash on that trade, and
Oh,
Zcash was one of the only coin that went even higher right on 1010. Like it was like right on the flash crash. And then I remember that my liquidation point was literally $2 or $3 in. So I was like,
wow.
oh man, it was so fucking close. Like that's crazy.
Oh, that is
But
crazy.
then if you check the second screenshot, that's how much point I have on Omni Variational. And you can see that I haven't traded like crazy money and things like that. So
Yeah,
I'm probably gonna make it back. Like I'm top 700, I would say,
yeah,
like in
yeah.
points trading with it,
I get a
just because I
good
was early
airdrop.
trading on it. It is interesting. So I don't know, because on Hyperliquid I was really early as well, but I didn't click the button to get the airdrop. So let's not talk about
Oh
that. So,
no.
but
Yeah.
I got my revenge and grew an account pretty high on the Hyperliquid,
Nice,
like from
nice.
$1,000 to 100K as well. So
That's amazing.
I got my revenge.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, we won't talk about the airdrop, but I'm waiting on the NATO airdrop as well. I did some trading on NATO. I
Nice,
think this was supposed to be
nice.
something later on as
Yeah, I
well.
think it's like it's rare that if you're early on something in crypto that it's just like make you use it, that you would get like rare from it. Like plus
Yeah,
like you can see like for example variation, or I just traded a bit on it and then it's like I didn't like even like trade for ages or refer a lot of people. No, I didn't,
yeah,
because like I would share shit like that on my Telegram, but no one wants to take 5 minutes to create an account, deposit, and start trading. I don't know
Ye-
why. People like super like they wait, like if they don't hear it 10 times on their timeline, they don't want to hear about it. And
yeah,
I can't understand that, because me, I'm like, okay, I got it. Let's go fast. Let's create something. Just deposit 500, 1,000. Let's start trading with it.
yep.
And like this, it is done, and I don't need to think about it anymore. And then if I like it, I'm going to continue it. Like people should allow themselves to try more things.
I
Like
agree.
it's really low risk to try. Like I'm not saying oh deposit 100K, and like it's saying
Yeah,
like when Aster happened, like people were like they arrive at the end. So it's like you had to trade like a really big volume at the end, which was still possible, but it's just like the earlier you are, the better it is.
100%. You brought up a great point with Aster, which is actually one of my better size trades. I was very early to Aster right when it dropped in the CZ quote tweet and everything like that. I made some good money on that. But yeah, if you're, don't be afraid
Nice.
to try things. Anybody listening, I mean, you truly never know where you could end up.
Yeah.
Obviously manage your risk accordingly to your lifestyle, but at the same time, you never know where you'll end up in life. I had another question as well. What advice would you give to kind of someone entering the agentic space?
I would say the same thing. You got to be trying stuff.
Yeah,
You got to be at the forefront of trying the new things, because literally your advantage against someone that is already established, someone who is already established, they don't need to try so much
Hmm.
because they already have something going on. And then if you have like nothing going on, like your cost of trying is really much lower, and that's where you can find an edge. You kind of want to specialize yourself as well, in one field, same
Yep.
as in crypto. And it's not going to be always like, you got to be patient. Like some people who, I don't know, who specialized into perps trading or farming perps trading thing, like they did good and they were on the same, on the right page. But some people who specialized into farming airdrops on chain, previous cycle, they got wrecked
Yeah.
because it was useless. But looking back, you could see that it would be useless because farming airdrop was already something that happened the previous cycle. And usually, what happened the previous cycle that was already big is not going to be big at the next cycle. So, for example, last cycle, meme coins were big. Well, if you check the previous cycle, it was just like Dogecoin and one or two other coins like that did really well. So we had like a taste of like what meme coins do.
Yeah.
But perps trading farming was not a thing before that. It was just hyperliquid with the kind of first one having a big attention publicly. So those one would have been good. And then also it was actually a money generating thing. When you farm the airdrop, when you go click buttons on base or blast or whatever, those ones were not bringing anything that people would actually use. Like, so there was no real usage on it. So
Yeah.
that would be the same. Like, let's say for AI, so you could be like specialize in AI videos. There's no way you cannot make money with AI videos. Like, either if it's with social media, with selling it to like ecom bros to make their ads, like, and then being at the forefront and everything you can do with videos, there's no way you would not do well. AI agent, AI employee, same like this. So there's all those compartments. Some people are better at specializing themselves into one thing. Some people are better at being more generalist. I would say like I'm more like generalist, but
Hmm.
like I have an intense curiosity. So like when I dig on something, I would dig to the
Yeah.
end of it. And I that comes from when I play video games. Like my older brother would go straight to the goal. I would be like going through every path
Yeah,
before I
you're
arrive at the goal.
like
I
a
would check like the whole
completionist.
map.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's very cool. I'm sort of a kind of completionist as well too. So I can relate to that. And I think you brought up a lot of great points as well. Take time to find something that you can specialize in. Be great at that niche. You can transfer that into perps, AI, like you said, and everything. So that's very, very great
Yeah.
advice. And I know you've talked about a lot of the stuff you're working on, and just overall general advice and knowledge on your YouTube and content. I've seen a few of your videos, and I think they're very, very amazing. You do a great job.
Thank you.
Have you always been into content? The whole time. Like what
Same.
gravitated to?
I started content in like 2015,
Oh, so you've been
2016.
early
So
into content. Nice,
yeah, but I was doing it in French. So I was doing it in French back then.
nice,
And the problem is, I left France about like 10 years ago now. I was doing content in French back then, but the
nice.
thing is, I left France like for so long, and then also none of my environment was in French. So like when I talked about personal finance, I started to be completely detached because like my tax system and everything is was different from like how French people would do, because I'm an expat. And then
Hmm.
after like everything I consume was in English, everything I talk about was in English. Like all my mates were from UK
Yeah,
or other English speaking countries, or like even the Europeans who is communicating English. So basically, I was getting more and more detached from that audience, and it was just painful and painful and painful for like, I would say like 2 years, almost 3 years of the business, probably 2 years. And then at some point, I was like, you know what, why don't I just fucking try to do it content in English?
yeah,
And bear in mind, like I've been building a YouTube channel like 5, 7 years, and I was like starting off from the ground zero. Like again, it's
yeah.
gonna
It's
be
difficult. Yeah,
annoying, but yeah, the thing is the YouTube algo changed and was rewarding a lot more new channels. So I was like, well, that's a good time to try now, because it's rewarding a lot more new channels, so you could get views even if you don't have subscribers.
yeah,
And then I started, and then I was like, my goal is like, I'm going to do a video every day for 30 days. And then if at the end of the month I don't have 1,000 subscribers, then I stop.
Yeah.
and I had more than 1,000 subscriber, and then Handsome Finance became what you know and what you saw, and then I
Yeah.
had a lot more fun to it. English speaking content was like a lot more rewarding to me, because like it's just like people I could work with, hiring became better, connections became far easier, like everything was just up.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's amazing. I'm recently starting off on my kind of content, journey as well. So, it's inspirational to see, working and seeing all the work you've done and everything like that. So, it's very, very cool. Just kind of like a lasting kind of question, a little bit. What do you think about the future of the crypto space? How does, in your mind, are you still overall bullish, for the 5 to 10 year range and stuff like that, right?
It's the best question. I saw a lot of people that were like that all-time bullish Bitcoin guys
Yeah,
being not so bullish Bitcoin anymore.
it's a weird time.
So
Yeah.
it's a weird time. So we have the privacy coins as well. We have quantic computing coming. It's
Yes.
it's a lot of things I don't know, and I could not give a thing. Like for me, like I feel Bitcoin, like if you get some Bitcoin, you just in for the long run. Then after,
Yeah.
of course, like Edge probably with few privacy coin or like quantum resisting coins, uh, to not be fucked.
Mhm.
Uh, but the thing that we can't deny is the beauty of on-chain trading, and I think like that's the thing I'm super bullish on. I think like well, first, like I mean, if you have origin from West Africa, you know like how like so many parts of the world just do not have access to proper financial
Yep.
systems. I mean, in China, it's not that easy to buy USA stocks, and China is the second like largest economy, depending which number you take.
Yeah.
It could be first or whatever, but it's still it's like it's not only developing countries; it's also mega economy, mega power that don't have the same access. So it's like not only with the stock market, but all the other things. So now crypto, I think like being a base for all the trading is a good thing because it's
Yeah.
an actual real use case. It's something we can do with it. Now, how we will be used for AI with decentralized computing, that might be a thing. I can't know if it's going to take off. I can't know like if it's going to be well executed. I think it's good to be curious about it, but like the problem is crypto has been always you get the over promise and then under deliver kind of thing because it's VC funded mostly, right? It's
Yeah.
VC funded, which is funny because it's like we talk about being decentralized, we talk about like getting away from institution and da 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 da, but then reproducing the exact same model uh, as in the real world stuff. When you see like Hyperliquid didn't have any kind of like VC things or whatsoever going on, like it was like the one of the most fair launch token. Backpack recently as well that went live. I don't know if Backpack raised some money before, so I can't say on that. But to summarize it, crypto as a financial service to be able to trade everything and without being locked by any countries is probably one of the best use case. Second best use case probably is going to be decentralized computing.
Yeah.
And of course, like, I mean, as a storage of value of your wealth is still probably the greatest way to do it because if anyone did ever wire transfer like more than 500K or whatsoever, like it's the painfulness you go through is not the same level. So in the end, I would say still crypto,
So
not as crypto. I think like actually like probably the word crypto scares a lot of people now because they've been burned 2 3 times with it.
yeah.
Probably should be like just decentralized finance in a way,
Yeah.
but DeFi as well meant nothing. Like the yielding, so it's like I don't know, but it just has to be a thing where it's not you doing crypto or you doing whatever. You just use that.
You just
You
use
just
that.
use
Yeah.
that for trading. You
Yep.
know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I think everyone wants to kind of build something to where, maybe you have crypto rails, but to people outside, they don't know that they're kind of using crypto. You know what I mean? That's how That's what they want it to feel like. But yeah, I definitely
Yes.
agree. And do you still enjoy what you do every single day? Since you started with all the content and being in this space.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it most days.
Yeah.
Some days it's painful. Some days you're like fuck. Some days you work on a video and then it tanks. Or some days you're like you pull out in so many direction you don't know. Like I mean, freedom is beautiful. Freedom is amazing, but it comes at some cost sometimes. Whether it's uncertainty or
Yeah.
whatsoever, and that's a price to pay. But once you become comfortable with that, it's fine, I guess.
Definitely, definitely. And I want to take this time to thank you again for coming on. I want to give you the stage as well to share, all your platforms, your YouTube, Handsome Finance, and where people and what you have coming up for yourself as well.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I mean, thank you first for this amazing interview. But yeah, Handsome Finance is still where I post like all the podcasts that I do, the interviews I do, or like when I find something interesting, some research. Like for example, like recently I was doing testing different AI models to build trading algos. So I'm sharing my research on that.
Nice,
My Telegram is probably in the description of the YouTube if you want to learn more about that. And then yeah, the product I have Stockchain if you want to do more longer term thing on Solana, Stock Fund for all the new coins getting created. And if you want to get your AI agents running in less than 2 minutes, then go to flyhermes.ai.
nice, nice. Thank you very much. And that concludes this episode of Trench Talk.